Hi, my name is Marion Evans and I'm a specialist German teacher at Hennington Primary School, and along with my friends Felix and Francie, I'm going to talk to you about the 3 T's of my COVID year. Hello! So, 18 months ago, I was the German teacher at the school, teaching 12 classes across 3 days, 1 lesson of German each a week. Loved it, absolutely brilliant, enjoyed every minute of it. And then suddenly 18 months ago, as we all know, COVID hit. And we really didn't know what to do with ourselves, obviously. Lots of us were a bit floundery. We didn't know where to go. We didn't know what to do. We were suddenly having to teach these online lessons. And it was a struggle. So I've reflected back on this year and thought about the 3 T's that got me through the last year, really, and helped me be the teacher that I am today. Time, technology, and teams. Not Microsoft Teams, obviously, but real people teams. So how have we survived this year using these 3 T's? Let's have a look. So time. I've had time this year to plan, to really get down to the nitty-gritty of what I want the children to learn, to look at the long-term planning, the medium-term planning, and the lesson plans that I already had in place and think, how can I look at this as a whole? I had the time to look at the overview, to plan some threads, the progression that I want in grammar, in phonics, in vocabulary across my language curriculum, and really tie it all together. And that's what this year has given me, that time. I've had time to do the research. I've had time to find out how German is spoken all over the world, not just in Europe, looking at Namibia and Brazil. I've had time to go to conferences, 2-day conferences that would normally cost me or the school £300, £400 have cost us £30 because it's all been done online. I've had time to do research through what Ofsted are looking at in languages and really get down to the nitty-gritty of how that fits in with my curriculum. I've had time to do CPD on online courses such as the Future Learn ones, but also ones provided by the Association for Language Learning and other bodies that are producing these things that I've had time to be able to do far more this year than I would normally have, and because it's all been online and often free. I've had time and I've had to adapt. Normally, 80% of my lessons include some singing of some sort because it's such a great way to learn language and it's fun. And we do a lot of games. We get up, we move around the classroom, we talk to each other. We've not been able to do any of that in class this year. And I've had to think about my resources, such as dictionaries that I would normally have one box, one between 2 that I share between classes. Haven't been able to do that yet. So I've had to adapt. I can't sing in class, so when the children were locked down at home, they sang at home instead of in class. They've still got some of that singing in. But I've had to create other games online using Google Slides where they could play games even though they weren't in the classroom, or even when they were in the classroom and they do them on the Chromebooks. And I've had time to adapt to making a lot of videos, as we all have. I've had time to refine, reflect and review what I'm doing, looking at how we've changed our virtual learning from September through to June, how the slides have looked, and then really unpick what the key things about the language learning lessons are that the children really need. So where I've had to think, okay, we haven't got as long to do this lesson, the children haven't got as much support as they would have if I were in the classroom with them, what are the key things that we really need? And it's really given me that focus, time to focus. Then I've looked at the technology. How have we been able to use the technology to excite and engage the children in the way that the songs and the games normally would in class, using things such as EduCandy and Genially, and being able to create a Bitmoji classroom where the children could click on the pictures and listen to songs at home and see the lyrics and answer questions about them. EduCandy, where you can create games that the children can play independently. Genially, which is a huge whole new learning curve for me, some of which I've achieved, some of which I've still got a lot to learn on, but I've had the opportunity this year to have a go at things. And because there's been so much training online for all these things, and we've all been grappling with it, I've had the freedom to try it out, to experiment that I wouldn't necessarily have had the time or the technology to do in normal lessons. So I've used technology to replace the physical resources that I would normally use in classroom, such as leaflets and maps that we would use when we're exploring Germany, using apps such as ThingLink, which has been an amazing resource to recreate some of those things, which I will be using again next year. So it's not been wasted time. It's been time that I've used productively to create new resources which can be used again. And most importantly, I've had the technology to replace me and Felix and Francie in all the classrooms. Normally, we would be bouncing around from class to class to class. This year, I can only physically go into one class, so we've been videoed. We've had Felix and Francie talking to each other. We've had me talking to Felix and Francie, and we've had them demonstrating things. So the technology to put me in all the classrooms, the class teachers can use me even though I'm not there, has been amazingly liberating. We've used technology to replace for communication. So using the Google Classroom, using Google Meet and Zoom, obviously, and emails. But most importantly, I think, is Google Hangouts, where I've been able to just chat to people in the same way as you bump into people in the corridor normally, or stick your head around a classroom door. We've been able to talk to each other online, brief chats, when we needed help for something, when we needed advice about something, or just when we needed to let off steam about things that we're finding difficult. That Google Hangouts has been there to save my sanity again and again and again. Technology for assessment, using apps such as WordWall and Language Magician to help build some databases, build data of what the children can do. Using Google Forms, which we all have been using all year, I think. Using Google Slides, where I can see what the children are doing each lesson, has been very useful. Using the technology to support people, providing marking notes for the teachers so they know what they need to be looking for in the lesson, even when they don't speak any German. Using the slides lessons to deliver those lessons to the class teachers to support them so that they don't have to suddenly have to be able to speak German. And being able to mark live when the children have been at home during the lockdown, and I've been able to look at what they're doing and jump straight in and say, oh, don't do it like this, do it like this. This is what you don't forget to use these. And we all know that marking live one-to-one is far more valuable than doing marking after the children have finished the work. And that's something that's true in class as well as online. Finally, using my teams to support me and to support each other. The specialist teachers team in our school has been incredibly powerful because we weren't classroom-based teachers. We were all working individually. And suddenly we became this unified team who were all facing the same challenges, which were different from what other people in the school were facing. Being led by the computing team has been incredible. They've been there to support us all the way through. I've had a year group team where I've been based in the one class in the year group, but I've been able to work within the year group and support them. Being able to attend staff meetings and things online through Google has been incredible across the whole school, but also being able to contact people across TFAT, being involved in the expert teacher scheme this year has made a big difference to my learning, and being able to network with those people, and also networking with the whole primary languages community across the UK, again using technology, has been incredibly powerful and incredibly helpful in a way that I hadn't expected to be this year. That we have been, on the whole, language teachers are the only person in school who really understands what they're doing, and being able to contact all those people across the country has been really powerful. So in conclusion, I struggle with change and uncertainty, and I know a lot of other people do. But the 3 T's have really helped me not just survive, adapt and flourish through all the madness that we've had in this ridiculous COVID year. So we need to think about, when you're faced with a challenge, how can you use your time effectively? Have you got enough time to do something? And if so, how are you going to do it quickly and effectively without taking away from other things that you've got to do? Do you need to sometimes say no? Do you need to manage your time carefully? The new technology that's out there, there's so much amazing stuff out there. How can you embrace that new technology within the time constraints that you've got and use it to your benefit and to the children's benefit? Ultimately, that's what we're looking at. How can the technology benefit the children? Don't use the technology as an add-on. Use it completely integrated within your classroom that can really liven up your lessons and really make a big difference. Who's your team? Have you got a team that you're supporting? Have you got a team that's supporting you? Make those teams if you haven't got one. Reach out to people. People love that support. And if you can give it to other people, they'll give it back to you. And finally, and I think most importantly, whenever you have the opportunity, please sing. Because when it's taken away from you, as it has been for me this year, you suddenly realize how important it is. Singing is so important. Sing as much as you can whenever you have the chance. You don't know when it's going to disappear. And that's my advice to you and my 3 T's. Thank you.